Welcome back to Face the Facts. I'm Nick Face. Joining me once again, our special guest. We have Andres to my left. We have Ryan back as well in the house, and he's over to Andres' left. Welcome, guys. I'm taking it your first appearance on the Face the Facts. Went well?
Yeah, it was fun.
You had a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah,
had a good time as well?
It was really great, yeah.
We try to keep the format as light as we can. So we have a lot of different things to talk about today. We're going to keep this episode a little bit short for you at home, but we do need to talk about a lot of things that have been going on in this week or in the past week as well. First on the list, call it the hit list if we want to call it, is the Red Sox. They have been number one on the list for a while right now, and it's not for a good reason, okay? There are a lot of problems that this team has right now that it's imperative that they get fixed. So there could be a long list. It could be pitching, hitting, and all that. Where does this team go from this stage right now? Let's go to Andres first. What do you think is the big fix that's needed?
Like we said last week, I think Farrell needs to go.
Okay.
Because I feel like if we want to have a chance of going somewhere, we have to get a new coach. Like, I think last year when he was going in for his treatment for cancer and stuff, what was his name that did the coaching? Yeah, I think that he's going to be taking over the coaching spot.
Okay.
And I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Ryan, you have a different opinion?
Yeah, no, I agree with Andres. You know, it's one night our batting's, doing really well and our pitching isn't. And then the next night, it just flip-flops. So that's on the manager. Our manager needs to keep this team consistent, throughout night and day, and he just doesn't.
Let's analyze the Tampa series that just came about and also the Texas series. We talked about the hitting. You just did. You're right. There's consistency one night, and then the next night they don't show up. There's pitching one night, and then it doesn't come back. Then they come back to earth basically the next night. When the series started in Texas, the Red Sox should not have won that game in the first place. That was the first game on that Friday night. David Price pitched that game. 7 runs let up. Red Sox got him off the hook. That was a lucky game, in my opinion, for them to have won. What do you think?
It definitely was because I feel like what Ryan was just saying, like it flip-flops, and I mean their hitting came up when they needed it as well. So I just feel like if their hitting can get back together and get it going, I feel like maybe the pitching can just follow up with that.
So do we think, as a whole, it's not just a pitching problem right now?
No.
It's an all-around team problem?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is problem number one, though, that you'd say?
Coaching staff.
You think coaching's okay? That's a great point. What do you think? It's different?
I kind of agree, but I think if we're talking about number one issue, I think it has to be pitching.
Okay.
Where if you look at the rankings, we're at the very bottom, and you can't win games when you don't have pitching.
I personally think it is pitching as well, but I want to talk about the issue that you just brought up, coaching. When you're a professional whatever athlete, how much do you think a player listens to their coach when they hit a certain level? Makes an interesting question.
Yeah.
So do you think, let's use David Price as a great example right now. Do you think that David Price is really listening to John Farrell and Carl Willis, who's the pitching coach, to pitch to his ability? Let's go to Ryan this time. What do you think? Do you think he's listening?
Or
do you think he's just being stubborn?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think he listens a little bit, and then, at some points he's like, Price has been, one of the best pitchers in the league for many years now. Consistent throughout many years, so I think it's a little bit of both.
I have an interesting stat for each of you that I found yesterday, and you're going to be alarmed when you see this or hear this. First of all, I took to Twitter and I found out a couple different things on what the pitching staff has looked like from 2014 to now. You want to know what the ERA is? I have a question. Do you think it goes bad to more bad to the worst ever on this list? You are right, it does. 2014, the Red Sox ERA as a team, it was 4.36. Don't worry, it gets worse, so we'll keep going. 2015, the ERA was a 4.39. Right now, the ERA is a 4.79. Where do we fix this? How does this get fixed? It's kind of almost in a way speechless to see this, because John Farrell was supposed to be this pitching guru who comes in and is supposed to make everybody pitch better, and the team's supposed to execute as best they can. Well, Farrell's been manager since 2013. He does have a World Series. I don't know if that had something to do with him or not. The jury's still out on that a little bit. My opinion, I think it's just because the team caught lightning in a bottle. But we've seen a sample size over a long stretch of time here. And I think that if the Red Sox want to progress to a new level and maybe get something crisp and new, I think it might be a good idea to see John Farrell look for employment elsewhere. I do. The Red Sox, for whatever reason, responded much better to when Torey Lovullo was coach, when Farrell went in for his cancer treatment. I do not want to put the sympathy card on anything here, but I think the Red Sox did that when Farrell was cancer-free by bringing him back as the manager for this year. So I think that moving forward, it would probably be the best idea to see a little shakeup happen here and see the Red Sox look to have a new voice be heard in that clubhouse. So those are your stats on what the pitching has looked like since 2014. Now, the ace that was brought in, David Price, came in 7 years, 217. We talk about it a lot on this show. Last night, it certainly showed, or yesterday, excuse me, because they had an afternoon game. It showed that they really have issues right from the top with him.
Yeah, well, I totally agree with that because, as you could see, I think he had 10 strikeouts over 6 1/3 inning, and he just didn't look good. And I think John Farrell said, "Oh yeah, David Price had his best stuff all year" or something.
Yep. That post-game interview that he did with the reporter was embarrassing.
That was terrible. Like I'm just like, if you really think he had his best stuff that game, you should be fired right now.
Farrell came out, in case you didn't see it, Ryan. He said that to the reporter. I thought David Price had his best stuff of the season last night. David Price, afterwards, towards the game, told the media, "My changeup was terrible. My curveball had nothing to it." So why are we not on the same page here?
Yeah, I mean,
What do we try? I think Farrell, in a way, he's trying to protect his player, but I think that it gets to a point where it gets to be embarrassing.
yeah, I mean the managers and the players that have to be on the same page, and it's been publicly shown that they're not at all, and
Completely not. Completely not.
That's a bad issue.
So I think that our point on maybe seeing Farrell tossed might be the right move to make. The question is, when do you get rid of him? When do you pull this plug? When do you pull it? You pull it now?
I say right now.
Okay.
As soon as they can is what he
So
just
they're on a
said.
plane right now coming back to Boston. They have a 9-game homestand before the All-Star game. The plug get pulled as soon as he's off the plane?
Yep.
Okay. What do you
I
think?
agree. I mean, I thought he should have been fired at the end of last year, but
I did too.
but at this point, it keeps going on, and it keeps getting worse. So I think he has to be pulled. I think the plug has to be pulled.
Now, team chemistry is important with any club when you're trying to win. We saw it firsthand from our World Series championship years. What do you think the team chemistry is like with the Sox right now?
Honestly, I don't think it's good.
Okay.
Like, I feel like all the guys are like all mixed matched. They don't like hang out together. They don't do much together. Like, I feel like if you want to be a ball club, you guys
So
gotta,
do you think
like,
there's a divide? Because I'll tell you where I think the divide is. But Ryan, I want to hear what you think. Do you think there's a team chemistry problem?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
there's a big team chemistry problem, and the interview shows that too. Coaches and players, players and players. I think it's a big issue.
The miscommunication, I don't think people are on the right page.
Yeah.
I think that starts from the top. That's top management. That's your general manager. That's your assistants, ownership. They need to take accountability too. And that goes all the way down to your management level, John Farrell, pitching coach, and then to players. What I think the issue is, I don't think there's a divide that much with the hitters. I think the hitters and the guys that are out there grinding it out all 9 innings, I think they're on the right page. I just think that the Red Sox got so hot trying to hit as well as they did in the month of May was incredible. I mean, the numbers that they put up were just off the charts, not going to carry that out during the whole season. What I do think that the divide is from is the pitching. I think the hitters and the pitchers are at each other's throats trying to get them to pitch to their ability. We saw that with Dustin Pedroia. Did you see the little flare-up that he had with Eduardo Rodriguez?
Oh, yeah, when he came off, yeah.
Yep, Pedroia came right to the mound, got right in Eduardo's face, said, you pitch better, this is ridiculous, you need to start executing, let's go, basically. Lighting a fire under him, basically. So the players have just about had it that are, the position players, the outfielders, those guys. I think that they're going out, they're trying their best to hit the ball. Granted, it hasn't been as consistent as it had been for a while. But I do think that it's getting to the players. There's no doubt about it. The pressure is there. How do they change it? Well, I think, like we said, I think it starts from the top, a different voice to be heard. For injuries, we have quite a bit of them. I think number one injury that's hurting quite a bit is Brock Holt. Brock Holt hasn't been with the team for a while with his concussion symptoms that he's had. But look for Brock Holt to be back with the Red Sox in their lineup come Friday. What do you think about Brock Holt returning? You think that's a good move for him to be there?
Well, I think it's a good move because that means we can get rid of Hanley, just get him out, see you later.
Okay.
Put Shaw at first base,
Yep.
which I think would be a good move because he can hit the ball as we've seen. Then we put Brock Holt to third base.
I think with Brock Holt being back on the team, it helps with the versatility. The Red Sox losing Brock Holt, what happened is they had to call up so many guys from Pawtucket to fill different roles. Brock Holt can play pretty much any position. For instance, this week, we had to see Marco Hernandez play shortstop. Do you think the Sox wanted to do that? No. That would have been Brock Holt playing there. Unfortunately, because he was out, they had to play the call-up game way too much in the past 7 days. It's been one guy up, one guy down, up, down, up, down. It's the elevator effect. So they need some consistency back with that team. So Brock Holt being there should help with that. I think one of the bigger moves that has been kind of played under the radar a bit is Chris Young getting hurt. Chris Young was doing really, really good for a pretty consistent months period here. I mean, he started out pretty slow, wasn't getting the at-bats. There weren't that many lefties he was facing. But Chris Young became basically your starting left fielder once Swihart got hurt. And he was doing outstanding. That move with Chris Young being hurt is a killer, I think. It adds not that much depth for your outfield. You're seeing a lot of guys from Pawtucket coming up, and they're not really major league caliber yet. No. So they're going to get exposed. And that's going to create holes in your lineup, which makes all your other guys around there worse. Like Jackie Bradley, who was on a downward trend right now. He has no protection. So if he doesn't have any protection, obviously hitters are going to come at him and attack him. He's going to see different pitches compared to where he was hitting. Usually it was 8th or 7th. Now he's sometimes all the way up to 5th. If Hanley's not hitting in your 4th or 5th spot, I mean, obviously Bradley's not going to do as well as he has. So getting exposed has hurt him, I think, a lot too. Besides firing Farrell and the pitching coach, obviously trades could happen. Unfortunately, we have a month to go until the trade deadline is here. However, what would you do if you were the Red Sox to bring some new players into play? Who would you deal, and what would be the return? Any thoughts?
I mean, obviously, I'd try to trade Hanley, like I've said.
I don't think you're going to get anything for Hanley. So we need let's think realistically. If we're going to make a trade that's going to make a difference, what are you going to have to part with? What do you think, Ryan?
I think we should throw in Hanley, but I'm not willing to give up any of our big bats because a lot of our best hitters are young. I think could become big, but I think maybe some pitchers, are like Rick Porcello or Joe Kelly. I'm not big in getting a big deal.
Now, here's the problem. All of you list players that have not done well this season. Joe Kelly, no one's going to want Joe Kelly. Hanley, no one's going to want Hanley. You got to go to your minor league system. You have to look at the farm. And unfortunately, you need to deal players that you're not going to really want to get rid of. That's Benintendi. That might be Mancada. That might be players that you hear a lot from people say, oh, they're going to be great and everything. You have to fix this problem. The major problem that you have to address is pitching. They have nothing in the farm for pitching. Nothing. So you're going to have to part with players to get whoever you can get. You might be looking at A-list players, Jose Fernandez, Sonny Gray, Chris Sale. That's going to require quite a bit of players and talent to get that sort of player. However, you do need to do it. The only player I would keep in the farm, if I was to make a deal, would be Mancada, because you have a financial investment with him long term. The other guys, great. They're great names. We don't know what else they're going to do. You already have your youth basically here for the Red Sox. That's Mookie, Jackie Bradley, Xander, Shaw, Vasquez. They're here. So my feeling is if they're already here, then guess what? Go out and get your pitching. You got your hitters. Plus the fact you have David Ortiz's so-called last season. We're going to let David Ortiz walk out of this season in this mess that we have right now? Probably not a good idea. So hopefully they can make those trades happen, and hopefully the team can get better so we can have an enjoyable summer, because right now they are ruining all the summer plans right now. So, I want to change gears. We've had a lot of different news that has happened in the NHL and the NBA with free agency coming very, very quickly at the end of the week. NHL I want to go over first because there was a major shakeup in the NHL yesterday with a rival team of the Boston Bruins. The Montreal Canadiens, to everybody's surprise, traded their face-of-franchise player, P.K. Subban, to the Nashville Predators for Shea Weber. As Bruins fans and everything here, I'm sure you guys are.
Yeah.
P.K. Subban has always been the thorn in our side every single time we play them. How shocked are you to see P.K. Subban being dealt from the Canadiens?
Honestly, that's probably the most surprising thing I've seen in a while because, like what you just said, face of the franchise, and honestly, he was putting up good numbers.
Absolutely.
And I'm just surprised, like, they actually dealt him away. Like, I was a little shocked
For
when
a
I
player
saw
less skilled.
Yeah, he's
less
not
talent than him.
even close to, in my opinion, as good as P.K. Subban.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not really that surprised, honestly.
No?
I'm not a big fan of P.K. Subban. Obviously, he's a great player. He's talented, but there's been a lot of reports that he's been a problem in the locker room, and I don't know.
There's more to the story, and I'm glad you brought that up
Yeah.
because you hear two different sides of things. You see him on the ice, seems like he's a grinder, goes out and tries his best to score and help his team win. But there's definitely something off the ice, and people haven't really hit on that yet. I think there's more details to come, so you're 100% right on that. I think that there was some sort of a problem in that locker room, and as a teammate. We'll probably, maybe we will, maybe we won't hear about more on why he was dealt. I was just so surprised yesterday when I heard that. The next shakeup, I'm actually not going to go with this big signing that happened. One of the players the Bruins are looking at, we'll talk about in a second. I want to talk about Taylor Hall being traded to the Devils for Adam Larson. This is the Edmonton Oilers. Why would I bring this up on Face the Facts? How come?
Well, because I think it was in the 2010 draft, right?
Yes.
And it was the number 1 and 2 picks
Yes.
that were going.
Who's number 2?
Tyler Seguin.
Oh, wait, he was traded?
Yep.
Oh, who traded him?
Oh, what was his name?
Oh, Peter Chiarelli?
Yes, sir.
Wait. Let me process this for a second. Who was traded yesterday?
What's his name?
Taylor Hall?
Taylor Hall, yeah.
And Taylor Hall is on which team again?
He was on the Devils, I think.
The Edmonton Oilers.
Oh.
And his general manager was who? Peter Chiarelli?
Peter Chiarelli.
Okay, my point that I'm trying to make here is this. How can you trade the number 1 overall pick in 2010, Taylor Hall, and the number 2 pick, Tyler Seguin, and be the same general manager?
Doesn't like him.
This guy is an idiot. What does he have against 2010? And talent. Taylor Hall is very talented.
She doesn't like him.
Look at us. I mean, it's hysterical.
It is.
I mean, this guy's a buffoon.
It's a joke.
I mean, Tyler Seguin. That was just ridiculous in the first place.
He's a franchise player.
And now this? How can you look at Peter Chiarelli and actually think he's a competent general manager anymore? I could not believe when I heard that. I mean, he deserves all the criticism in the world for that move right there. I don't know what's worse, trading Seguin or trading Taylor Hall. I mean, I feel bad for the kid. I mean, he's been with Edmonton for a while and been a pretty good identifiable person on that team. So we wish you all the luck, Taylor Hall. I mean, hopefully you take out your frustrations with the Devils. Just don't do it when the Bruins play you. So that's all I have to say for him. Now, one of the guys that came off the drawing board yesterday was Steven Stamkos. There was a little bit of a rumor that he might be coming to or talking with Boston. So unfortunately, he's off the table now. So Stamkos has re-signed with the Tampa Bay Lightning. So that will unfortunately not allow Stamkos to be a Bruin. Not that I thought that they had a chance, but just took a name off the board there. Any other things about the NHL? There's nothing with the Bruins right now, folks, unfortunately. There's just nothing. They have zero talk on the table for things. It just does not look pretty if you're a Bruins fan right now. There's not much help out there. Anything
Yeah,
else?
I mean, every star that comes to the Bruins, we trade. I mean,
Yep.
Phil Kessel, Tyler Seguin, and there were plenty more. You know, Joe Thornton back in the day, and we get crap back. So
Yep.
it's frustrating.
Big pile of crud. Now, NBA. Free agency is at the end of this week. There's a big name out there that has told the Celtics that he will be able to meet with them. He is one of 6 teams. That is Kevin Durant. His meeting is on Monday. That is Independence Day, 4th of July. Where do we think this is going to head? Do we really have a chance at Kevin Durant? What do you think?
I think we actually do, to be honest with you, because there's young players around him that can feed him the ball and stuff, what
Yep.
he kind of wants. And, you know, he's got young, good talent. And I feel like if he's going to go meet with Golden State, I don't think he's going to go there because it's not going to be about Kevin Durant. It's going to be about Steph Curry again, Draymond Green, like all of them. It's just he's just not going to have that highlight of what he had on the Thunder with, you know, Westbrook and KD, the big two.
Okay.
It's not going to be
What do you
about
think,
that.
Ryan?
I don't think they're going to the Celtics or the Warriors. I think he's definitely going to stay with the Thunder. I don't know why he would leave. You know, he's been so good there.
I think he stays with the Thunder as well. I think this meeting is only happening so the Celtics can get the pieces that they'd like to when Durant, for the last time, which will be next year, will be a free agent, and maybe they have a chance to get him that way. The only way that I think that Durant comes to Boston is if he's able to tell them exactly who he needs to become a Celtic. It's an easier path for him if he becomes a Celtic. He doesn't have to play Golden State, San Antonio, the Clippers, the Lakers, all those teams in the Western Conference, which are tough competition. When you go to the East, you have to just you go through the Cavs, basically, plain and simple right there. So it become a little bit easier that way. Just very quickly, we have a couple other notes on the NBA front. Dwight Howard is meeting with the Celtics at some point. Just very quickly, yes or no?
No, he's a wash-up.
Okay, what do you think?
Yes, you know, I heard a lot on the radio last night. They were all pushing Dwight Howard away. I think if we get a small contract for him, you know, a 1 or 2 year deal, I think he's definitely worth it. He's that postman that we've been waiting for, you know. And he's a great rebounder, and he's great around the rim. I think that's a guy who would really help our team.
I've never been a fan of Dwight Howard, but I'm a fan of a 1 year deal. I'm a fan of that. It shows that a big name can come to Boston, so that might also help trigger our Kevin Durant talk that's going on right here too. We're going to finish off our show very quickly with our top 5. This week, our top 5 is team uniforms in the NFL. We're going to go very quickly on this because we only have a couple minutes left here. So, I want you to do we're going to do a rundown on who we think has the best unis. So, who do you think? Who's number 5 on your list? Doesn't need an explanation.
I'm going to say the New England Patriots.
Patriots.
I like their jersey.
Okay. Who do you think?
I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Bengals. So you're a fan of the orange and black?
I am.
The eye of a tiger. I am going with the Packers. I'm going with the Packers because, I'll just do it very quickly on the explanation, because classic colors of green and yellow, not really other teams have that color combination. It's been a kind of a symbol kind of uniform in the NFL there too. Number 4.
I'm going to say the Atlanta Falcons.
Nice colors. Nice
Like
uniform
it.
right
Looks
there.
Good.
I'm going to go with the Titans.
Titans, okay, that's the light blue and red and white.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Eagles. I like the Eagles dark blue and silver kind of style. I've always liked their combinations that they've had there. Number 3.
I'm going to say the Dolphins.
Okay.
I just like, how it's white,
Yep.
nice, like kind of teal color of blue. It's just nice.
I'm going to go with the Packers. I like their green and white.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
Classic colors.
Yeah.
Classic colors there. I'm going with the Panthers. Throwing a curveball out there. The sky blue, black, white combination. Pretty nice combination there. Number 2.
I'm going to say the 49ers.
Good colors.
I like
It's
it.
got the gold and red and everything in there.
I'm going to go with the Rams old school.
What was that?
It's the yellow. The
Yep.
yellow and blue, I think.
Okay, yellow and blue, old
Yeah.
school style. Number 2 is Patriots for me. Homerism right there. Just we always have seen the Patriots styles there with the blue, the silver, the gray, and the throwback unis are very nice for them too. I like that combination there. Number 1, let's go Ryan first.
I'm going to go with the Chargers
Yeah,
throwback.
I wonder why.
The baby blue.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Okay.
I'm going to say the old time, the Tennessee Oilers.
What color combination was that?
I'd like to say it was like baby blue.
Yep.
And it was all white with like on their numbers, it was a red outline and
Yeah.
then dark blue.
Oh, cool.
And I liked it.
Very cool.
Nice.
I'm going with the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks style. It's got a little bit of the lime green in there, blue, silver kind of style. Very classy colors right there. That's going to do it for another episode here on Face the Facts. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope the Red Sox get better. Hopefully Kevin Durant can become a Celtic. And who knows with the Bruins? Who knows? 4.
Face the facts.
No, your name. 4.
Oh, Andreas Paglia.
Ryan Sullivan.
I'm Nick Face. We'll see you next time on Face the Facts. Goodbye.